Still says going live. Sweet, we are live. Yep, don't need that. Hey everyone, my apologies. I was 1 minute late. Is it actually going? Okay, it is actually going. Sukhoi Gar Nervod, I am Tad Larkin. Today we're going to be doing some map making and chilling. So where we last left off, I had started the Atrakan map, and a lot of you don't know how it ended up. So, oh, that's the space map. I'll show the space map after. This is how Atrakan actually ended up. So, I went back to the description and I noticed that, like, it was like in a transitionary period. If you remember before, I had this all like a kind of like a moonscape. So what I did was I kind of put down some grass and stuff. I put down dead grass and dead trees to kind of make it look like, oh, this was once a lush planet and now it's turning into just awful because of the Clone Wars. And this is the city, what the city ended up looking like, where the CIS forces will be stationed. This will be like the last bastion, because the siege of Atrakan lasts like a year. And so that's the land planet. That's how the land planet ended up. Then here's our space map, which I'll show in a second once it loads. Space maps are the easiest to make. Nice big planet shader. And I love playing with the lighting to kind of make it like but the thing here is I wanted it to be like the sun, or the star rather, was shining through this green nebula, kind of making it a little bit green out in orbit here. So that's what the space map looked like. And I didn't show, I actually made another map. I did not, because I was just trying to get this map out, I didn't broadcast me making the map. This is the planet Agamar, another CIS planet. Also goes by Murgoshir. This is what the planet Agamar. I kind of wanted to do like it was inspired kind of like by the Bestine map, where you only like hover vehicles can go here, so you could drop troops off and try to capture this sensor relay, which will reveal the whole map. And then the capital city of Kalumai City, I can't remember what it was actually called. It starts with a C. I had to dig through the West End Games source books to get a little bit more info. But yeah, Agamar's kind of like a foresty planet. And then they had like one capital city that was supposed to have a harbor, so I included the harbor. It's got a nice little spaceport. And this is also going to be a bitch to attack if you're the Republic. Hey! Brian from Barb's Basement is here. Woo! Oh, we got tons of people pouring in now. We got 11 people. Nice. And then, lastly, here is the space map for Agamar. Once it loads. If it ever loads. Ah. Now this one is blue. I wanted some nice blue shading going on. And Agamar is a temperate world, so we have a nice big temperate world backdrop. And I've been doing a lot of space junk in my map, so I'm like, oh, let's do some asteroids and we'll do some nebulas. Nebulae? Whatever the proper plural for nebula is. Oh, wow. Hey, thank you, Annesley Harriet. Looking good. Keep up the good work. Why, thank you. I have like 180 something more maps to go. out of the 3 I've done so far. So let's start a new map. Today we're going to be doing Yag'Dhul. So we're going to do a land map. And now I did a little bit of preliminary research. I wanted to see... I had the wiki up. I didn't mean to... Yag'Dhul. I was trying to find if... Because I have a lot of the West End game source books here. And my little library here. And sometimes they'll have little maps. The Wizards books and the West End Games books will sometimes have like little maps you can use for your campaign. And sometimes I like to take those maps and base the Empire at War maps off of them. Kind of like a little Easter egg to people who play the games. But, yeah, I couldn't find anything here. There's a lot of, like, shadow feed, fact files, stuff that appears on, like, defunct sites like Hyperspace, and then you have the old Star Wars Insiders. So I don't have much to go off of, so I'm kind of relying on the wiki. I know it's kind of like a no-no, especially how much I give Wikipedia crap. But this gives me all I really need to know. So we know it's a small, dense planet. We know it has 3 moons. We know it has oceans. I kind of want to make it kind of like the picture here. So, and also the Given, who are the planet's native inhabitants, they like to live in hermetically sealed dome cities. So we've got, yeah, Given lived in hermetically sealed dome cities. So what we're gonna do is, I think we'll start out doing a kind of like an arid map. Oh. We'll do desert map, single player. This one's gonna be Yag'Dhul. Let me make sure I'm spelling Yag'Dhul correctly. D-H-U-L. Sometimes I do D-H-U-L. Yep. Yag'Dhul. Yag'Dhul. So the width in patches, this is how big your map is going to be. What I like to do is I like to do around 12 or 13. That gives us a big, really big map to play with. And all the maps in this game are square, so aspect ratio is kind of forced. Don't know if this is a hot take, but after looking at both sides of the arsenal and territories, I believe Sidious wasn't pulling the strings. The CIS would have won the Clone Wars. It's quite possible it would have. They definitely had the manpower. And then, so the bound area, see this little, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but see this little yellow line on the right corner of my screen? That is the map boundaries. I like to give a little bit more room. 640, as you could see, is kind of too big. I like to cut it in half. I like to go like 320. And then if I find I want to adjust them later, it's super easy to go back and adjust those later. Alright, cool. Alright, so now we want to load textures. Let me just save this first, because the map editor is prone to crashing. I'm going to do land, planet, Yag'Dhul. When you code XML files, like what you have to do with this mod, it doesn't like apostrophes, it doesn't like hyphens, it likes underscores. So Yag'Dhul has an apostrophe in the name, so I've just contracted it. Alright, so our map is saved. Now we need to get our environment settings going. So right now we've just got this standard dirt texture. What we can do is load in a texture path. So I need to go to my Star Wars Empire War folder. Steam apps coming. Star Wars, Empire War, Corruption. It might be in editor docs. I can't remember. Nope. Data. It is in material sets. We'll just do a default. You know, a lot of this map is going to be taking place inside one of the given hermetically sealed cities. So let's do the urban set, and then we can go in and individually add desert textures for what's going to be on the outside. And I'm going to have some water in it too. Are there any Empire War mods that focus on the reconquest of the Rim campaigns with the Confederacy holdouts, or even the Camino Rebellion from 2005 BF2 campaign? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe Awakening of the Rebellion, or Empire War Remake, I think, has some CIS holdout factions. And one of my friends, a French guy, he was gonna make a Dark Times mod where it focuses on the reconquest of the Rim and the transitionary period between the Galactic Empire and the Galactic Republic. But that never got off the ground, and he kind of changed his mind. He's developing another Clone Wars mod, but French is his native language. He can speak a little bit of English, so his whole mod is going to be in French. But as you can see, we loaded the material set. These are all urban, different concrete and metal textures. We will edit this. But let's get our planet environment going here. We can actually load environment sets. Well, let me just save. We can preload environment sets. I recently learned when I was doing Agamar. So we'll go to nature, environment. No, that's to add different. Okay, here we go. Environment set operations. Do load. So we want to go to environment sets. They've got a default Arctic, default desert, default forest is what I used for Agamar. Let's do Yag'Dhul isn't volcanic, but it does have low atmosphere. What was it? It was like a what? It was like a type 3 or something. Produces tidal forces so extreme, often the planet's water and atmosphere are drawn into different parts of the planet, leaving the rest of the world in a vacuum. Yeah, so the planet basically doesn't have water all the time. It doesn't have a stable environment. So, and it looks red. So we're going to go with kind of like a volcanic set here. Oh, my clothes are done drying. I'm going to wait till that's done. Okay, it's decided to stop buzzing. That's good. So we'll go with the default volcanic environment set. As you can see, this changed our lighting, our weather settings and everything, our sun, where the sun position is. For now, for constructing, I'm going to take off the fog. We're going to take off the ash storms, because there's not really any ash storms on Yag'Dhul. It says the sky dome is volcanic orange, but I don't actually see a sky dome. Okay, let's go back to volcanic orange. Okay. Oh, yeah, because that's too small. Volcanic orange X1 is the sky dome we want. That fits the whole map. So I'm using a modded pack here. Where is the sun? Sometimes you can see where the sun is at. And what I like to do is kind of put down an object. So let's put down like a building or an infantry. Let's put down a stormtrooper. And this is representative of the infantry units. And I kind of want to see, do I like where my sun is at? And if not, I can go in and kind of arrange where I want my sun to be. So I can make it like a noon time, or, well, noon would be like here. I can make it like a dusk. Ooh, interesting. I liked it where it was at like 45. We can keep it at 41. Yeah, that was fine by me. And we'll put like the fog and stuff back later. Now let's look at the chat, see if there's any more questions before I get ahead of myself here. Have you watched any of the Transformers movies? I have not. I never really got into Transformers. Discussion going on in the chat. Occurs to me how the Jedi wouldn't realize that Jango Fett was the template for the clone army while also working for the Separatists until it was too late. Yeah, that was always kind of screwy. Has Tad seen the Kenobi show? Brian asks. No, I have not yet seen Kenobi. Recently with my Patreon folks, we watched Caravan of Courage, the Ewoks movie, which was... I was expecting holiday special level of cheese, but it was actually really good. For a 1980s made-for-TV children's movie, it was quite spectacular, and the production value was higher than I expected, so I was happy with it. Thoughts on Kenobi and Filoni's Tales of the Jedi? Well, haven't seen Kenobi, so I don't have any thoughts on it. But what I can say about the Tales of the Jedi is I was peeved that it wasn't actually Tales of the Jedi. It wasn't like Ula Keldroma and Exar Kun and Manda-LORE the Indomitable and all that stuff. That would have been cool to see. No, Filoni just reused the logo to further bury another Legends story because that's what the current agenda is at Disney. So, alright, so what I want to bring in a specific prop here. This is a prop I secured permission from another French modder, Dark Grazi. So if we go to, I can't remember if I put it in ground structure or if I put it in generic structure. Or props generic. We'll try props generic first. I gotta go through a bunch of stuff here on my list. Crashed acclimator, prop crate, lots of crates. Debris, fuel cell, Felucia, electrical box. Yeah, Brian, it was the exact same logo. That's why when they announced it, I thought, oh god, are we actually getting like a, a Legends adaptation for once? And no, but it's probably for the best, because if Filoni did it, he would have just fucked it up. Okay, here's the Dantooine farm and the Dantooine temple. I don't have... The prop I was looking for isn't in here. Oh, let me just double check. Some Camino props, some Kessel props, Kalan props. No, maybe I put it in urban. I'm the one who coded in these props and I don't remember where I put them. Bear with me. Yeah, it's not in generic. So let us try props urban. What I'm looking for is a Duro city. Because Duro is another hermetically sealed planet because... or city planet because the planet itself is not really great for, like, habitable. Do I not have it? Props urban, statue, square, Jedi temple, half wall, corner, civ structure. Where the hell did I put it? If I go here and try to find the name of the prop, this is the model viewer for Empire at War. So go to model, type in Duro station. This is the prop I'm looking for. This is what's gonna kind of go around our city here, because as we saw in the wiki, the Give and Live and like sealed city, so this is going to be kind of like a dome city. Thank you, Zim. Geesley released a video explaining how Filoni retconning both Legends and canon and how he was disappointed with it. Something that I respect him for. I think people are starting to turn on Filoni. I mean, as the guy who kind of started the Filoni hate train, unintentionally, because I don't really like to, put hate on anyone, I will say it is refreshing that people are starting to see that he, it doesn't just stop at what the expanded universe. He doesn't care for any continuity but his own. He kind of has a George mentality where he thinks he's not beholden to any other continuity, forgetting that he's not George Lucas and he actually is beholden. So we got some Megiddo structures, some Munin structures, some Mercana structures. Where is that Duro structure? We have the Senate. Officer Duro Station. Here we are. We found it. So we're gonna lay the basis for our map here. And oh, there we go. Oh, maybe we can have two and kind of have like a tunnel going between, or a couple tunnels. That'd be cool. Let's do that. So here. This kind of like petroglyph logo thing you're seeing here, that's a shader issue. But as you can see from the actual model, this is how it's going to show up in game. Because this model viewer uses the in-game file. So these are the shaders that are missing in the map editor, but they are present in the game. So yeah, it looks like garbage in the map editor right now, but just know it's going to look much better afterward. Okay, so we'll get another one kind of going over here. And maybe later, not tonight, because at 10 o'clock, my friends and I are doing a game night that we do every Friday. I might take this model and in the XML make a copy of it and make a smaller one. That way we can kind of link the two. But this way we can kind of map out what we want to do with our map here. Oh, Brian, thank you. If DF is so big, why doesn't he fight me? What do you mean, DF? Who's DF? Oh, Dave Filoni. I don't want to fight anyone. I don't advocate for violence against anyone for any reason, even if, they don't adhere to either the expanded universe or canon continuities. That is not an excuse for violence, and I don't condone that. But I will say, just seeing what Brian looks like in his streams that he does. By the way, he promotes me all the time on his channel, and I have yet to actually, what am I trying to say here? Give back the courtesy. So, Brian, Barb's Basement in the chat here is an excellent Star Wars YouTuber. Go see his channel. It's awesome. He does both canon and Legends, but he loves the comics, and they're awesome. His production values are great. His studio he has set up is awesome, too. It really does look like he's trapped in some middle-aged woman's basement. And it's awesome. Go check him out. He freaking promotes me all the time, so I should start promoting him more. But yes, from his stream, I do think Brian could take on Dave. He seems like he's a young, fit guy. And I don't like making fat jokes as a former fat person myself. But, I think Dave could stand to lose a few pounds. So I think Brian could take him, if that's worth anything. Okay. So yeah. These are our cities are going to be. Kind of looks like a set of balls or boobs right now. But I think I might have like one or two more platforms, and I want like a water feature. So if we go to the height tab here, you will see, let's do like 200. And we'll do 10, 1. Those are the maximum settings. You will see the water table is at 0. And now, since I want these cities to be kind of raised, what we're gonna do is make the water table a lot lower. So we'll go to water table height. We want it, let's do, well, how high do I want these cities first? Let's go back to height here. Oh, height. GP5 operator. Were any of the Coastline Dar instructors, the ones that stayed after the Jedi discovered Camino, questioned by the Republic about their relation to Jango, and find out more about why he was the clone temp? That I don't know. I do know that them being Coastline Dar, they were sworn to never like leave the Camino facility again until the project was done, and even so, they were kind of not really obliged to talk a lot about it. But being questioned by the Republic themselves, I don't know. Let's see. Going back to this, how I like this at like -50 here. And obviously, let's put the water table down. Oh, I can actually do the water table settings here. Let's do it at like -70. Kind of see. Maybe I want these cities raised a little bit more. We've got some playroom here. Oh, we've got a lot of not too much playroom actually. Let's try raising this up to like -30. To -20. Nope, that city is just straight at 0, isn't it? No. As you can see, actually, it comes down a little bit. I basically kind of want to line up the bottom of our thing here. Kind of make it... Let's make the terrain level -10. This is better. All right. Alright, cool. That way it's raised a little bit. And what I can do too is on the inside, I can raise this to whatever height I want. But we will play with that later. Let's just fix this now. Go back to 0. This is the leveling code brush. What this does is it levels terrain to whatever height you set. And the numbers are arbitrary. They look like landmarks for the Trade Federation core ships on Geonosis. There are props, like not Empire at War. Republic at War has props, map props, where the Trade Federation core ships go up and down. And if Xerox didn't hate me, I would ask if I could use them. But I have my own props I plan on using when I do Geonosis. Gotta admit, your discipline at rejecting anger, unlike others, is admirable. Such humbleness takes a lot of effort to maintain, I assume. Well, here's the thing. I've been in this game a long time. I've been debating Star Wars fans since before, the new canon even existed. And, I'm sure there's a post somewhere saying, well, they're gonna... Of me being like, well, they're gonna decanonize the entire expanded universe at some point, which I'm pretty sure I did say back in the day. But my point is, I've argued a lot, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of passionate ideas and visions about Star Wars, and it's just not worth fighting. It's not so much that I'm, being humble and, trying to, what do you call it, like, be mitigating and, everybody get along. I'm just fucking tired of arguing. And as I grown older, I realized nobody's going to change their minds and opinions no matter what evidence you put in front of them. And those that do, I applaud them for, reasoning and deductive reasoning and all that stuff, but doesn't always happen. So sometimes it's just not. It's sometimes just too much to argue with people. And I'm a big proponent of do unto others what you want done to you. And I don't want somebody going to my house and harassing me or beating me up because of my opinions on Star Wars. So I don't want to harass or threaten violence against anyone else. It's just my piece. It's just my piece on the subject. And it's Star Wars. It's, whether you like the new stuff or like the old stuff or hate the new stuff or hate the old stuff, there's just a whole lot you can pick and choose from. But what I want to figure out is I want like some sort of oceanic feature, because on the planet, as we can see from this picture here, we've got like a lot of like red oceans. That's kind of what I want to do. I want some coastline. So maybe we'll have like a third smaller city bubble over here that people can kind of walk over to. But and then maybe we'll have like a coastline going here. I kind of like that. All right, let's put the water at like negative. Well, let's try 35. And once you've been doing maps as long as I have, the number system does begin to make sense, even though it's quite arbitrary. So let's make the terrain level negative 100. Here. Maybe we can get like a coastline going, and I can play with some water settings. I want to make it so like coastlines we see here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Coastlines we see on the planet here are kind of jagged. So I can get a rough outline here and then go in with a finer brush and kind of mess with a bunch of other settings. So here. Let's kind of get our ocean coastline here going. And I know it's like a metal texture right now, but we'll have like, I'll slope this out and we'll have sand and it'll look like a proper beach. I might do like black sand or something, because a lot of the ground on the planet looks kind of like volcanic-y, ashy, even though it's not really a volcanic planet. Zim asks, Manda-LORE, if someone does come to your house, hopefully you don't pull a Boogie 2199. I don't know what a Boogie 2199 is, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. Hammer Source 2007. I don't understand. Trying to get our ocean here. Your Fordo videos you did were the most spicy I've ever seen you, and even then completely reasonable, built different. Possibly. In my youth, I was a lot more fiery and a lot more unreasonable and unwilling to listen to people and other opinions that I didn't like. Now I will actually, go on and listen. I still won't watch any new canon stuff, sorry. Unless I'm forced to, like the Chicken and Robot Chicken. But I'm not gonna, begrudge people for liking what they like. Just like I ask, they don't begrudge me for liking what I like. Oh, maybe we'll have like an island out here too. I don't know. That's the fun part about map making. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. I've got like... must think I have like ADD or something, but... the fun thing about map making in this game is you kind of have like a bright... like a idea when you're going in, but then as you're in it, you're like, oh, I could do this. Oh, shoot, that's not what I want to do. Oh, I could do this, and that, and this. And then, it ends up not, ending up what you originally started with, but it's still awesome. And it's, kind of like storyboarding as you go along. Like normally, watch, oh, I don't have the picture here. But, normally when I start a map, I will just start the flat part, and then I'll take a screenshot of a bird's eye view here, and then I'll kind of in MS Paint, sort of do some preliminary planning on what I want to do. But doesn't all the time work out that way. So now we're gonna go in with a finer brush. Let's set it at like 30. No, first of all, we actually probably want to smooth this out and make it more of like a coastline. So actually go back to the 200 radius. Get this kind of smooth. As you can see, it's kind of smoothing out. It's not at the slope we want yet, but I can add terrain to kind of... It's kind of like forming lumps of clay. If you ever played with clay. Or Play-Doh. Do they still make Play-Doh anymore? Or is that like an old person thing? This nice smooth coastline going here. And maybe at some point we'll do like some like jaggedy rocks. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Like I said, that's the fun of map making in this game. You just kind of start spitballing and ideas come to you. But what we want to do here is we want to get that red water. Like in the picture here, that like blood red water. Check the chat. Lots of discussions going on in the chat. The Fordo videos were how I discovered you at Manda-LORE. It was the TCW videos. Got me to read the Republic comics and realize how awesome those comics are. Well, I'm glad it introduced other people to literature. I'm glad something positive came out of my negative rantings. Those videos, I released those videos at a pretty dark time in my life, and I was just frustrated with how the franchise was going. So they come off a little bit more angry than I like to actually be. Alright, we're getting like a good kind of coastline-y thing going here. Alright, now let's play with our water settings. Sky color is orange. We want to make the water color like red. But that's like a little too on the nose. That's like cartoon color red. So maybe we can mess with this a little bit. Make it just a tiny bit lighter, but not like too light. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I like that. And I think we can mess with the wave patterns too. Let's save while we're ahead, because this is around about the time I'll start crashing. Oh, we still got a nice good hour before I gotta leave, so that's good. So we'll save. Just checking the chat while that was saving. Alright, cool. Well, I got the kind of ocean I want, so I can mess with that later if I want. But yeah, maybe let's play with some textures now before I start getting into building these cities. I want some height variation, that's the thing. So we'll go to texture. As I said, we have all these urban textures. What we need to do is load in some like earthy textures. So let me save again, even though I just saved because I'm paranoid. But whenever I try to load in textures, sometimes it crashes. So we want to go down to V for volcanic. I want some volcanic stuff here. Volcano rock. Let's grab that. Volcano Rock 1. And not really what we're looking for, but sure, if we want to add some texture variety. Oh, go back. Volcano Rock 2. Definitely want that. I guess there's no Volcano Rock 3. We'll go Volcano Rock 4. Like I said, the soil is kind of dark brown and black. Not quite, you know, volcanic, but we can utilize those textures to give us the feeling we want. Alright, so we loaded in 4. Let me save, just super quick. Question for Tad. Do you think much would have changed if the 501st wasn't the detachment sent to the Jedi Temple? What if it was the Galactic Marines or a segment of the Special Ops Brigade? I don't think much would have changed. They just would have became the new... Whatever Legion or detachment of a Legion did end up going to the Jedi Temple would have ended up being Vader's fist. So... I don't think much would have changed. I think any clone Legion is capable of, you know, doing that job. We don't really want the lava. The cooled lava is kind of a cool texture. We'll grab that. Like it's not like, you know, Warhammer lore where some of like the Astra Militarum, you know, there's some that are clearly better than others and some that aren't. You know, I think with the clones it's a bit more standardized. We don't want that. Alright. Well, now we want some sand textures. Snow, sky, sand. We want like a black sand, but I can make my own black sand. Alright. Oh yeah, let's grab this. And we'll go back down to sand. I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Yeah, I like that kind of like sand duney sand. Grab some of that. And we'll grab one more sand. Sorry, I was just checking the chat. Go back down to sand. Alright, let's grab this guy too. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to start making this stuff darker. So we'll go... let's do like a brush size of 50 just so we can kind of see what we're doing. And we wanted to kind of match some of these other volcanic textures here. Like these darker textures. Let's lay some out here. Oh, I really like that one. Alright. Now we'll do the diffuse color. Oh, that's like... There's a term for that amount of black where it doesn't reflect any light. It's like Vanta black or something. Let's try material specular color. That's not kind of really what we want. Let's try that though. This isn't really turning out the way we want. No. I thought there was a texture similar to this for the volcanic texture. Let us try... see if I load all the volcanic textures in, and that it'll erase some of my urban textures, which I don't want because the majority of this map is going to take place Like, this is just aesthetic stuff on the outside. This is what you'll be seeing as the player. But all of your infantry and vehicles are going to be in here. So... oh, fudge. I have to go through the texture library again. Let me save. Stand by. Or, there's got to be something I can do. Actually, just editing it. To kind of make it the color I want while retaining the actual picture. There's gotta be something I can do. Tilt angle, that just kind of changes texture scale. Meh, doesn't really do what I'm wanting. No, this can't be as good as we can get. Let's try that for half a second. The material specular color does nothing. That's dumb. And that's also too, like, angular, too. I don't like that. Well, like, hold on. If I save here, and if I go to... if I open a different map... Legends Mod Collective folder, Legends Mod Maps... say I load Sullust here, which is a volcanic planet. They have the texture I want. See, look, they've got that black sand that I want. But they have it... so I gotta see how they did it. Lava rock, no. Dirt. Lava rock. Maybe I should go to... maybe I'm just looking for the wrong texture names. Tatooine rock. Lava rock. Oh, the bump texture and the thing are different. Okay. Lava ridge. Alright, so I have to go to L for lava. For the textures I want. So let's go back to Yag'Dhul. No. Because I have some of the vanilla maps in my folder for reference. For exact situations like that. Sullust before Mustafar was a thing. There were plenty of volcanic planets in the EU before Mustafar. You had Sullust. Yeah, I'm not proving my point very well. Oh, that's objects. We want textures. Okay, so we'll do lava. L, 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 L. Yes, these are all the textures I want. Okay, we want that. Go back. Yes, that's what we want. That's what we were trying to accomplish. Laser beams. Okay. Lava ridge, lava rock. Yes. Yes. Haha. You had Sullust and Sullust and Sull. Oh, Serapin. Yep. Sullust Serapin had Abaddon was a lava planet, but it didn't really actually appear. That was what they were going to have the final duel with Vader and Luke be in Return of the Jedi, back when it was called Revenge of the Jedi. Okay, so we got that one, we got that one. Now we need this one. Lava Rocco 1. Lava Rocco 2. Lava Rocco 3. And then Lava Sand. Pocket Sand. Ah! See, this is why I like to save. Okay. Cancel. Good thing we didn't get super far. And I saved as periodically as I could. Let's go back to that. Now I got it. File, open. Land planet Yag'Dhul. I'm trying to think of some more lava planets. What the hell? Solist Serapin had Abaddon. That they retconned into being a deep core planet, I think. It had Abaddon used to be what they wanted Coruscant to be. Back in back before Heir to the Empire. But then George liked the idea of Coruscant from Heir to the Empire. That's why he incorporated it in the prequels. I gotta do all those stupid lava textures again. I'm really sorry. But at least we know where they are. What the hell? Lava Ridge. Why am I having trouble doing alphabetizing? Because I'm trying to think of more volcanic planets at the same time. Lava Ridge, Lava Rock, yeah. Alright. Thanks for joining us, Zim. See you around. What the fuck? L. Lava Ridge, Lava Rock. Oh no. Did I get that one? Oh, I accidentally skipped this one. Okay. Yes, that's fine. We know where we're at now. I know what I'm doing. Right, we got that one, that one, that one. Now Lava Rock 2, 3, and then sand. And then we're gonna save, because I don't want to do this again. In case it wigs out on me. Did I get Lava Rocco 3? Yeah, I did. Lava Sand. And then Lava Smooth. File, save. Yes. Okay. Have all of our textures now. I think this is all the textures I'm going to be using. So file, save. Alright, we won't have to mess with that anymore. Let's get a coastline going. We'll do lava sand. Oh, I gotta get the bump texture on there. I think this is just a regular sand bump texture. I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Alright. There I go, doing another joke. Just like prequel memes. Abusing the same joke into the ground. That's why I left prequel memes. Let's do 70 for a radius here. And then I will diversify the texture a little bit. Oh, that's not what I want, is it? No. That's the one I want. Parley! That's the one. And this is just preliminary stuff, because I kind of want to, like... What I like to do is kind of divide things into, like, zones for textures. Like, this is a coastline, so there's going to be sand. Obviously, I'll spruce this up with a couple different sand textures so it doesn't look so, you know, manufactured. Okay, and now there was one lava rock texture I really liked. Wasn't that one? We'll definitely speckle this one in, but it's not what I want. Yes, that's the one. Let's get our brush size to 200, because we're going to kind of paint the whole map here, minus the city areas. Oh, and I also forgot, I'm making this go down to -10. So, bear with me. I'll at least get some textures painted. Maybe I'll do like some mountainous areas too. You know, we don't have to be super precise because this is a thick boy model that'll cover a lot of stuff. We just don't want to end up going in here. Like I said, I'm probably going to raise this area up. Debate going on in the chat about whether it should have been Kashyyyk in Return of the Jedi or Endor. I used to be in the Kashyyyk camp, but actually, till recently, you know, watching some of the Ewok movies and then reading like Supernatural Encounters, Endor's kind of grown on me. It's definitely grown on me. While it would have been cool to see Wookiees ripping stormtroopers' arms off, at least we got to see them fighting battle droids. Not exactly ripping arms off, though. It's one of the great big teasers of the trilogy, not even the trilogy, of the whole saga, is just... we never get to see the full potential of the Wookiees. I could go without the special edition music with all the jibber jabber. Ooh, eat a. I don't know the lyrics. I'm not gonna actually sing here. Alright. Yag'Dhul's starting to shape up. Let us kind of thin out our brush here. Let's go down to 50. Because I don't want to overlap. Because this hermetically sealed city is kind of close to the coastline. And I might actually make this texture a bit bigger. Oh, it doesn't have a bump texture, I just realized. I can mess with that in a second. Who would actually know the lyrics? You never been on Wikipedia before. There are some weirdos who know the lyrics. Let's bump back up to like 100 for our brush width. Just for ease of doing everything here. Max Rebo was cringe. Now I'm just reminded of that scene from the OG Clone Wars where Max Rebo and his family are crying because the Separatists are invading. Sad Max Rebo. BF2 2005 Kashyyyk map was so fun, and one of the few games that encapsulates the coastal defense of Kashyyyk in the film. Felt like you were part of the actual universe. It was fun, but I will say Kashyyyk docks on Battlefront, the first Battlefront, which is kind of a similar map, is awesome. And it's like it's a sniper's paradise. Also in that game you can go prone, which you cannot in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Alright, let's get our brush size up here back to maximum. And I know I said I'm gonna make a smaller, I'm gonna copy this and make a smaller one. I can't do that actually in the editor, I have to mess with the XML files. But for now, I'm just gonna paint all this to kind of get a feel of what our terrain's gonna be like here. And like I said, I'm gonna make a bridge in the middle here. Kind of connect the two cities. Just wondering, what are your thoughts on the book Death Troopers and the prequel book Red Harvest? I went into Death Troopers thinking it was going to be a silly, story, and I actually had a lot of fun reading it. It was actually quite a good read. I'm not normally into like horror stuff, but there were some scenes in there that gave me the heebie-jeebies. And it was definitely a good read. I started listening to Red Harvest, the audiobook, and I just couldn't get through it. I ended up going and re-listening to the Hand of Thrawn trilogy, duology, which is arguably also extremely boring. But I don't know. I couldn't get into Red Harvest. Oh, I said I was going to make this brush bigger. That's better. Almost done painting the map. It's a map painting game, but unlike Europa Universalis or Victoria 3, a little less complex. Alright, Yag'Dhul is starting to shape up a little bit here. Oh, missed the middle spot. Now we can kind of like speckle different textures around. Let's save, because I'm going to be editing some stuff. So Lava Rock 2 doesn't have a bump texture. That doesn't seem right. That's not the bump texture we want. Might be Desert Rock. That's a tree. Let's try that one. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Add some texture to it. And, oh, let's make the texture scale a tiny bit bigger. Oh, I think like 150 would be cool. Not like 200 times the size. Yes, I like that. Then we got our black sand coastlines. And now, let's kind of speckle some other textures in here before I finish the beaches. Speckle some of this in. If we go and we do the noise brush, what this will do is kind of, it makes like a little pattern. But let's change the radius to like 30. Yes. Yes. Get some texture variation in here. It's very subtle at first, but once we start adding more textures, it's going to be a little bit more noticeable. Another question for Ted. Do you ever find yourself playing Star Wars The Old Republic? It's free, and there's a few decent storylines that might be worth trying. Expect KOTOR contradictions, though. Yeah, I've heard about the KOTOR contradictions, and I've actually read about a couple of them while doing research. But the thing is, it's not that I think it would be a bad game or something. It's just I can't get into MMOs. My first experience with MMOs was World of Warcraft, where it was my mom's boyfriend at the time. He was trying to get me into it, and it was like, oh, he was like, oh, so let's make you a character. He sat me down, and I'm like, oh, cool, I want to be Alliance. He's like, nah, you're gonna be Horde. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to be, I want to be like a Minotaur. And he's like, no, you're gonna be a Dark Elf. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh, okay, I want to be like a warrior. I want to have like a sword and shield and all that. He's like, no, you're gonna be like a warlock or something. And he basically just had me go around collecting loot. So that kind of spoiled my image of MMORPGs, which I get is unfair, but at the same time, let's see, we got some texture variety going on here. Oh, I want to mess with the clouds too later. It's just also like a time thing. Like, I don't really have a lot of time to devote to an RPG. I'm sure if I actually got into one and with a setting that I liked, I would enjoy it. Like, I think I would enjoy the Knights of the Old Republic, or not Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic. But it involves, a commitment that I can't really do, because just my normal job, I work 8 hours, sometimes more, depending on, demand and the different projects I'm working on. And then I've got Manda-LORE, I've got, writing episodes and recording. And that's made more difficult by, trying to find time to record. So it's just like, when I'm not working, I'm working on, either this mod or I'm working on Manda-LORE stuff. I rarely ever find time to play games. In fact, my game night is usually on Fridays, which is what I'm going to around 10 o'clock here. Which is, it's 9:40 now, so about 20 minutes. But, yeah. Now, I have played Galaxies a little bit. Not back in the day, unfortunately, but a friend of mine showed me an emulator, and we played for a little bit, and we raided the Death Watch bunker on Endor and got our butts handed to us because we were trying to get the Mandalorian armor. And it was fun. That I could definitely do. But, we also had cheats, so it's like you didn't have to grind. Yeah, this is the boring part. It's just adding textures. Wait till I start adding like mountains and buildings and stuff and planning out city streets. It feels difficult to enjoy games nowadays. Kind of, yeah. Definitely sometimes I get that feel. Alright, the whole map isn't painted yet, but We got some texture variety here. We added 2 textures. Let's add another one. Let's see about this guy. Oh no, we just did that one. Did we do that one? Just trying to get some variety here. Without making it look too like a pattern, you know? Because, you know, this definitely looks like a pattern. We don't want that. This looks like early 2000 game. Which, granted, this is an early 2000s game, but shush. I don't want that sand. A lighter rock would be cool. Some of that lighter rock in here. And like I said, the players won't be in this area. The players will be in these areas. SWTOR is really good as a standalone character experience. How they fit 8 different class arcs together was on point. Well, that's good. Deathwatch bunker on Endor was always something I found odd and interesting. Yeah, it was odd, and it was a surprise once we got there. There was just a shit ton of super battle droids, and they just gank you as soon as you walk in. It's like, oh crap, we actually need to grind for this. And that's the thing with, you know, MMORPGs, it's the grind. I don't have time for the grind. If I could sit down and do it, I think I'd enjoy it. I'm capable of doing it. It's just finding the time. Let's get some darker spots in here. Definitely don't want this to be... And, you know, I'll go in later with an individual brush and make it look like less like of a pattern. Because even with the noise brush, which is supposed to be random, we can kind of get little hints of a pattern. And that's what you want to avoid when you're doing, like, natural terrain. You want to avoid patterns. Because patterns, like, this is an urban scape, so patterns are okay. It's still nice to break up the patterns, but... you can get away with it because this is a man-made, manufactured thing. Yeah, somehow this shit returned for the 15th time. Yeah, Yag'Dhul's starting to look nice. I like this. I like where this is headed. Definitely like where this is headed. Maybe I'll make kind of like the Polis Massa map in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Where some of these outside areas might be accessible to vehicles, just not infantry. Droids are fine, because droids don't need oxygen. But, like, you won't be able to put, like, clone troopers out there. I think that would be cool. It's another one of those ideas you get. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Let's make this texture a tiny bit bigger. Let's do, like, 120. Yes, that's good. Yes. You know what? I think these clouds need to be bigger. see how big we can make these clouds. Object. Oh, not object. We want weather, nature. Cloud size. Can we do 2,000? Or does it only go up to 1,000? Ah, they only go up to 1,000. Let's take the speed down a little bit. I don't get the impression that Yag'Dhul is a super windy planet. Let's make it like... It was at 30. Let's do like 16. Alright, you know what? 23. Nah. Bring it down a bit more. Do like 17 miles per hour. Or it could be kph, I don't know. Technically, Star Wars is in the metric system. But... like I said before, these units are arbitrary. And we'll have like some, it won't just all be flat in between the cities. We'll have like some mountains and hills and stuff. Maybe some craters. Hot take, Valkorion would have been better if he was his own character and not be an avatar for Vitiate. The Eternal Empire stuff I still have to do a lot of research into. I find the best way to do it instead of like reading Wikipedia is watching people play online. I actually got a couple clips from YouTube of people playing. I try to credit them, of course, but no, it would be easier if I just played the game, but like I said, I don't have the time, so I want the SWTOR encyclopedia. However, it's extremely rare nowadays and extremely expensive. I think I had it on my thrift books, and I'd pull my thing up, but I don't feel like it right now. On my thrift books wish list, I think it was like $280, which, if you don't know what thrift books is, it's a website where you can buy books for super duper cheap. A lot of my collection comes from thrift books if I can't find a lot of stuff in stores, which is scarily enough getting increasingly harder to find these days. Yeah, I heard Shadow of Revan was extremely divisive. And the KOTOR novels kind of... Which I did read. The SWTOR novels kind of fucked up Revan a little bit, which I did read. The SWTOR novels. I liked Deceived. Deceived was good. We got some good like backstory into Malgus and his relationship with the Twi'lek girl you see in the Deceived trailer. You'd be better off just getting the scans for it. Yar har fiddle dee dee. Yeah, I have my ways, but so I had a computer in which I would acquire things, but that computer has since crapped the bed. And I don't want to risk acquiring things on my current computer. And we'll just leave it at that. Alright, yeah. See, look, this is a lot more, other than, gotta break up some more patterns here. This is turning into a lot more, looking a lot more natural, not just, like, manufactured like this looks. Definitely getting a lot more natural. Ah, yes. I like how this is turning out. Large concentration of dark splotches. I'm sorry. It must be boring watching me do... I'm trying to, like, split my tasks up a little bit instead of just painting textures. So, you know what? Why don't we... I don't really want to make mountains over here yet because I want to see if I can put a smaller dome over here. Like, these are going to represent, like, dome cities, like I said before. Yeah. And like I said, maybe I'll do like a little island out here just for like aesthetic purposes, but well, maybe I can make some mountains here on the border. With the 8 minutes we got left before I gotta leave here, why don't we make some mountains? That way you're just not watching me do textures the entire time. Let's do additive brush, intensity 10, 100. Cool. Thank you, GP5 operator. Apparently it's not boring and I'm really good at this. Alright, let's make the radius. We want some big-ish mountains. Let's make the radius like 100. But we also want them to kind of look like they're far away. If that's a word. It's not, but let's pretend it is. Get some mountain action going here. Some Rocky Mountain High. Which, the Rocky Mountains are quite beautiful. I enjoy the Rocky Mountains whenever I get the chance to go. Let's do kind of like a series of mountain ranges here. There'll be a little valley there. And like I said before, this yellow line is outside the bounds, so this will just be like background scenery. That way it doesn't look like, you know, you're just on a flat board. And like I said, I'll put another city here. I'll have some like hills and features here in between these two cities. Tarkin in Legends had a wife, but also a mistress. Yes, it was heavily implied that him and Dala had a thing. At least in the Death Star novel. Oh, these mountains are a little too round. I want to make them a tiny bit like pointier. That's not what I want. We want pointy, not round. I also want it more on like this side. There. There's some points now. I don't respect modders at all. Sad face. Why not, Johnny Ridden? Small little mountain range here, not quite as tall as these boys over here. Oh, these two boys look almost the same. I need to make this guy look a tiny bit different. There, that works for me. Wasn't Dala a little too young for Tarkin? Yes. Johnny Ridden, because if you get too much praise, you develop an ego. Well, I can assure you I don't have an ego. I am definitely not Corey's datapad. I will say this, he is an extremely talented modder, and does deserve a lot of the praise he gets, but he does let it go to his head. I think he's kind of a prick. But at the same time, you know, he is extremely talented, and I'm sure he's a nice guy outside of the community. But he does come off as pompous when you talk to him. Or like when you just hear him talk. Yeah, I will not turn into Corey Loses. I think it would be cool to collab with him at some point, and I think it would be cool to, you know, have him teach me some of the things he knows, because they're like Lua editing. I don't really know, but you know, fame kind of goes to people's heads. And now in past maps I've done, I've kind of like tried to make like a box of mountains, which reviewing now, it doesn't really look that great. So instead of doing mountain ranges on this side, I'm just going to make some hills. Kind of give the illusion that, because you're going to be looking at it from this perspective. This way it kind of gives the illusion that it keeps going on for a little bit. So we'll do... make our radius 200, and we're not going to bring our hills up as high as we did our mountains. We just want some hillocks. See, not like crazy, but also not flat. Because flat, you know... I'm sure there's some parts of the world that are actually legitimately, like, extremely flat. Like, I have driven through some of the flyover states. But flat terrain is uninteresting. Hilly, rocky, mountainy terrain is interesting. At least to me. I'll get some hillocks over here too. Just the slightest click of my mouse gets them right to where we need to be. And maybe we'll have some like vegetation and stuff. I don't really know what Yag'Dhul has for vegetation. It doesn't really sound like it has a lot of it. Yag'Dhul is a small, dense planet, large 3 moons, tidal forces, yada yada yada. Live in hermetically sealed cities built to sustain the incredible tidal forces of the planet. Yeah, it doesn't give me a lot about the ecology or any of the fauna. Maybe I'll have like some shrubs and stuff, like some deserty shrubs, but I'm not gonna do like trees or anything large. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of fauna, or not fauna, flora. And actually, it's 10 o'clock, and my friends will probably be pinging me soon, because we got our movie night tonight. Normally we try to do like a game night, but we voted for movie night this week, and I think we're watching the 3rd Riddick movie, because we watched the Chronicles of Riddick last movie night, which is a couple months ago. But yeah. So Yag'Dhul's coming along pretty good. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next stream I do. Hopefully the next stream I might either continue Republic Commando, or I might play the X-Wing Alliance mod that turns it into TIE Fighter, but with like revamped graphics. I've been playing with that a lot ever since I got joysticks, and I do want to stream that at some point. But I think the next stream I do will be a game stream rather than just a modding stream. But yeah, and I'm interested to see what this looks like when we come back and I show you guys what the progress I made. But thanks for joining me. I've been Tad Larkin. I gotta go. Thank you all for coming in and watching me. And in the link to the description, in the link of the description is the mod I work on. The ModDB page hasn't been updated in forever, so there's a lot more progress on it than it looks right now. Plus, I have people helping me. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream right here. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you later.